Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. And my inbox is filled with people asking me about the iPhone 8, what I think about it, what I think about the rumors, the edge-to-edge display. So naturally, I went and did some research, tried to get you guys all the information that I could, most of this information that is being verified and sounds legit to me. So I'm going to break it down. I do have some bad news for you guys about the iPhone. It's not what we think. So first things first, this is actually the 10th anniversary iPhone announcement. So we're expecting something special. Whether it's going to be called the 7S or the iPhone 8, we don't know. However, getting to the design, which is where some people might not be very happy about it, everyone is expecting the full edge-to-edge display that everyone's been talking about for the past few months. However, I'm here to tell you guys that that might not actually be happening, but we'll get to that in 1 second. So let's start with the back because that's probably the thing that looks closest to what it might look like. So it's pretty much going to look exactly like the iPhone 7. However, it's going to have a vertical camera instead of the horizontal. And at the front, we are expecting a display edge to edge. If you guys have seen this image around the internet, you guys are expecting it to look like this. However, there's been a recent leak, and I'll put the Twitter link down below so you guys can check it out, where it's about some guy who works for a shipping company and they do safety checks on large cargo shipments to check the safety of batteries in transit. And obviously they've seen a huge influx of iPhones with Touch ID on the back, and they're talking about like a few pallets a day. And he reckons because this is such a huge amount, it's mass production, tests usually only do a few. So this is more than just a test and could potentially be the closest thing to what it looks like. And I'll put up the picture of what he managed to take. He did say that it's hard to get a photo at work because of security. However, he managed to get one in low security area. So this might not make people happy, but the display isn't as edge-to-edge as we first thought it would be. It's actually got a little bit of a bezel on the top and the bottom. And personally, I don't think that's the end of the world, to be honest. I think that this is probably a safer move from Apple because they're just doing a huge jump and Apple doesn't really do a huge jump. And I personally don't think this picture looks as bad as people are making it sound. It actually looks pretty good to me. Like, you know, you guys know I'm not the biggest Apple fan. I don't use any iPhones or anything like that. But I personally think this looks pretty good. Everyone's really annoyed about it, but the bezels don't look that big. Like, I think it's a safe move, to be honest. Moving on from the design, it's safe to say that the screen's definitely going to be an OLED screen, and OLEDs are beautiful for everything. I mean, Samsung and Google have been using OLEDs for like all their phones. And it's about time, honestly, Apple is making the move. I'm glad they are, because OLEDs have higher contrast, they have deep black blacks, they have high brightness, and there's lots of battery benefits. Every time you see a black text on an OLED screen, instead of powering that pixel up to make it look black, it just turns off that pixel, which saves you a lot of battery. So if you have a wallpaper that's all black, it will definitely be saving you battery. Resolution-wise, I still think it's going to be 1080p. I highly doubt it's going to be 2K because Apple. The home button. Now, everyone is saying lots of different things about what's the home button, where it's going to be, where it's going to belong on the phone, what's going to happen. So there's two things that can potentially happen, which is what I reckon. The first thing I think that Apple's going to do is have the home button and the fingerprint reader under the display, which I don't personally think is what they will do, just because of one thing. Qualcomm, the guys that make those Snapdragon CPUs, they just showed this recently, and it's slower and less accurate than a typical fingerprint sensor that's just like in front of the phone or at the back, because it has to read from underneath the display. And Apple tends to like chill and sit back and watch and see how new technology hits the market and how the market will respond to this. So because of that, I highly doubt they're going to do this, and Apple usually likes to go speed and convenience and make sure it works properly. Which brings me to the second option, which I reckon it would be home button potentially at the front, like a pressure sensitive one, sort of like the Galaxy S8, and the fingerprint reader could potentially be at the back or maybe on the side, like on the volume buttons or something, who knows. And a lot of people are saying that there might not be a fingerprint sensor. I highly doubt that's the case. It doesn't sound like Apple would take that away. Maybe they'll replace it with something else, like, I don't know, an iris scanner, but I doubt it, but we shall see. And next thing I really want to talk about is wireless charging with this phone. Is it going to have wireless charging? Probably not, but there has been some code found within the new version of iOS that has new sounds. So obviously there's going to be sounds within the code of iOS for everything. So there is one for charging, which I'll play for you guys. So this is your normal charging one. However, there's one that sounds a lot more futuristic, which sounds like wireless charging to me. However, the biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this is potentially that iPhone isn't going to be as edge-to-edge display as we originally thought, where even the edge, where the screen was cutting around the speaker. I highly doubt it's going to look like that. This does sound more realistic and a lot more of a design that Apple would go for just to play it safe in the beginning. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comments, and if I do find anything else, I'll definitely update you guys. I know you guys want to see iPhone content, so I'll obviously bring up iPhone content for you guys. When it comes out, I'll definitely be making unboxing, review, and you guys will get all of that, don't worry. But in the meantime, share this video around. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.